So when you hear the word crypto, what comes to mind? Probably complex charts, maybe risky investments, right? But what if its real purpose is actually way simpler? What if it's a direct answer to some pretty fundamental problems with the money we use every single day? To really get our heads around that, we first have to ask a very, very basic question. No, really, just take a second and think about it. If you've got a dollar bill in your wallet, what actually makes it worth anything? At the end of the day, it's just a piece of paper, isn't it? Well, the answer to that question is at the very core of why cryptocurrency even exists. You see, the explosion in cryptocurrency's popularity isn't just some random trend. It's a direct response. It offers a very clear technological solution to some really old problems that are just baked into the way our normal money works. All right, so to really understand the money we have today, we actually need to rewind the clock a bit and look at how it all used to work. There was a time when money wasn't just based on trust. It was based on something real, something you could actually hold in your hand. This was called asset-backed money. The concept was actually pretty simple. A government could only print as much paper money as it had a physical asset, like gold or silver, actually stored away in its vaults. This created a hard, physical limit on things. So, a silver dollar wasn't just a catchy name, it was a literal promise. It meant that you, the person holding that piece of paper, could walk right into a bank and exchange it for a specific, guaranteed amount of real physical silver. The paper was basically just a convenient IOU for the actual valuable stuff. But then, everything changed. In the 1970s, the world went through this huge, fundamental shift in the very definition of what money is. And this is the moment the system we all know and use today was born. Okay, so before the 70s, the world was pretty much on what was called the gold standard, meaning the US dollar was backed by gold. But the US government started to face a massive problem. Inflation was rising, and other countries were showing up wanting to trade in their dollars for the actual gold. So to prevent all of its gold reserves from just vanishing, the US made a historic decision in 1971. It completely abandoned the gold standard. For good. And this gave birth to what we call fiat money. Fiat is a Latin word that basically means by decree, or let it be done. And that's exactly what this money is. Its value comes from one place. A government simply declares it to be valuable. It's backed by nothing but trust in that authority. And pretty soon, other countries followed suit, and this became the new normal all around the world. So this is the crucial takeaway right here. We went from a system where money was backed by a real, limited thing like gold to a system backed only by trust in the government. And even more importantly, we went from a money supply that was limited by physical stuff to one that is, well, essentially unlimited. This single change is the source of a massive, ongoing problem. And that shift from a limited supply to an unlimited one created this giant, persistent problem that affects every single one of us: inflation. And this is the core issue that cryptocurrency was specifically designed to fix. I mean, let's just think about this logically. With asset-backed money, you couldn't just print more whenever you wanted to. You had to go get more gold first. But with fiat money, that restriction is completely gone. So what do you think happens when the printing press can just run without any limits? Well, it kicks off a chain reaction. First, the government prints more money. That increases the total supply of money floating around. But now you have way more dollars chasing the same amount of goods and services, so the value, the purchasing power, of each individual dollar goes down. The result for you and me? The prices we pay for everything, they go up. And this isn't just some abstract economic theory. This quote shows you the very real, very human cost of out-of-control inflation. Can you imagine having to spend your entire paycheck the moment you get it because you're scared that by tomorrow it won't be enough? Your life savings are literally melting away in real time. And trust me, this is not a rare problem. Ever since the world abandoned the gold standard, this cycle of inflation and devaluation has happened over and over and over again. So many countries have seen their currencies fail so completely that they've had to just scrap them and start all over again. And this is what brings us back to cryptocurrency. It was designed from the ground up to be a totally different kind of system, one that isn't dependent on the decisions of a small group of people. It's a system built to be governed by rules, not by rulers. So how does it do that? First, it solves supply problem head-on. Most cryptocurrencies, like Bitcoin, have a fixed, finite supply that is hard-coded into the system. There will only ever be a certain number of them, period. Second, it's decentralized. There's no central government or bank that can just decide to print more. The network is run by its users, all following the same preset rules in the code. This makes the system programmatic. It runs automatically, and that makes it entirely predictable. And this table just lays out the fundamental difference perfectly. Fiat currency has an unlimited supply. It's controlled by a central authority, and it's backed only by trust. Its issuance is decided by rulers. On the other hand, cryptocurrency has a finite programmatic supply. It's controlled by a decentralized network, and it's backed by mathematics and code. Its issuance is determined by rules. It's a completely different philosophy of money. So when you look at the long history of money, from physical stuff like gold to government-backed paper, it really makes you think, doesn't it? In our completely digital age, with all the problems we've seen in the current system, maybe, just maybe, a currency that's based on transparent, verifiable code is the next logical step in its evolution.